Navy chief, Navy pride, once a chief, always a chief. These are phrases that we hear all the time in the military, but it looks like one of those might not be true, and that applies to one former Navy chief petty officer that's out there that is looking to buck the system and expose some of it as he tried to make changes from the inside of the system, which were not received very well. So you guys might know this guy as Chief Khan, Grant Khan, blah, 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 blah. It's a long Russian last name. I can't say it, but Grant Khan is what he goes by now. He's not a chief anymore, but he's gotten out and has definitely been kind of poking some bears out there, as it looks like he's trying to make some change from the outside now. Now, if you don't remember, Chief Khan was across every single kind of platform being awarded some kind of praise from junior service members, including Navy Times as well, and some formal publications for some of the actions he did while he was on social media, primarily over on Reddit. Now, this was because he noticed a trend on Reddit where a lot of people are doing a lot of anonymous posting, and they were talking about their mental health issues and struggles of being in the military, where they would feel more comfortable being able to talk to people on that platform or in that way, other than maybe someone in their chain of command or some healthcare professional. Now, I do want to say Chief Khan was seen as a light that shined bright within the Chiefs mess, because the fact that he did have a genuine and compassionate approach to helping junior service members, even though he was senior enlisted. He would be on Reddit and be able to find people that were in some kind of need of assistance for SI or SA. I'll let you guys think of the ideation or attempt, right? Because I want to get this out to the masses, and YouTube will flag videos down for saying those words. Unfortunately, thank you, YouTube. But what would happen is they would then use this network to be able to engage with service members to try and intervene and get them the help they needed, or even just a listening ear. He goes on a rampage on his personal Instagram, kind of throwing shade at the current Chiefs mess, and also includes Admirals as well. He says, imagine starting a prevention program saving hundreds of service members across all branches, only for Master Chiefs and Admirals to tell you to stop before you get in trouble. He then writes in the little caption here, he says, we did it, costed $0 to build, tried it, presented it, shut it down. Now, that left a lot of people wondering, what are you talking about, Khan? He says in a note, it started with a few sailors, and we slowly onboarded service members from every branch. The team would actively post on social media about prevention and offer us a resource. We also created a website that gathers analytics, so as someone surfs the pages, it gave us exact locations where we needed to focus on spreading mental health awareness information. Social listening was a big portion, advocating on every social media platform. We used sites like Sprinkler and Kuros to set up geographical filters that would alert us when someone posted keywords that involved mental health. Sometimes it was just messaging asking if they were okay. Other times we had to get law enforcement involved to stop a service member from jumping off a bridge. Many of the volunteers are still active. We called ourselves JTFZ, which means Joint Task Force Zero, because Task Force 1 was pointless. And it looks like a service member appreciating his services said, hope you're doing well, Chief. I'm still here, living, breathing, appreciating life. I made EMN2 a nuke. I made it to my first boat. I'm living every day to the fullest. I will not tiptoe through life, only to arrive safely at death. How's the civilian world? EMN2. Yeah, so it looks like he had a pretty good plan, a good proof of concept, and just to throw this out there, he's been throwing some shade left and right, and one of them included this, just because I thought it was pertinent, kind of to the topic of where we're at, and you can understand his mindset. He made a post on Facebook and also on his Instagram, which said, quick, show me the most pointless thing in your home. I'll go first. And you can see here is his box from selection to Chief Petty Officer as he was a Chief Select, and this is one of the notorious things that Chief Petty Officers will have to carry around, and no one is supposed to understand what's really in it unless you've gone through initiation. And also on top of that, if you are not carrying it, you're going to get in a lot of trouble essentially. And so him doing this was very symbolic towards the Chief mess. So it looks like he is bucking the system. Now that he's out and he's kind of thought about it, it doesn't seem like he is, wanting to go down without a fight. And it looks like there have been people also that have said, good thing he was out of the Chiefs mess, because he was now, belittling the mess and kind of what they stood for. But I want to say, as much as I don't have power in any of this of creating a program, I kind of feel bad, because he'd reached out to me previously and was like, hey man, do you think Corman would be on a duty for this? Have a phone, trying to think of that. And I was like, I kind of gave the legal liability answer. And, that was now like a year and a half ago, I believe. And, I see it from the medical and legal aspect. And I was like, that's not really going to work because X, Y, or Z. If you throw some kid on duty that doesn't care, what is going to happen, because this is going to be a position. If someone were to do it, it would have to be somebody that actually gives a shit. What we've done hasn't made it any better. Like, relying on this fallback of all legal reasons we don't want to do this. I understand it. I get that. But I'm also like, it's not working. As we want to centralize this and say, go to mental health, go to your chaplain, go to your command, go to, these military one source, right? Go through all these programs. I think that a lot of people have a hard time really addressing that face on. It makes me ask, what's the liability already? If someone sees a mental health professional in a hospital, for example, and someone says, I swear I'm not going to do anything to myself or others or whatever else, and I'm just telling you every bit of lie, and then they go home and do something that is the worst, case scenario, it's like, cool, contract for safety happened, but it wasn't followed. It sounds like a checkbox versus anything else. I'm like, well, if you're just checking boxes, we could train people to say, yeah, promise you're not going to do this, right? Over the phone or whatever else. I'm like, and as much as I think it's great to keep the resources within for people that care in the military, I know it's going to be from people that are probably just wanting for eval bullets and ticks and that to make sure they advance, that they took a duty. And that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's the appropriate answer, but I do have a good idea that might work. And because I think it will help alleviate the entire military side of this. So sadly, even though, we do have those resources, I would tell Khan here, make this a thing, a structured company. And I know it sucks to make it all company, but that's like the only way that we can do this in a bureaucratic system. Make it a company, go through the red tape, contract this idea out, and go through it that way, because then the military will be like, well, we had the contract and the liability was over there, or maybe some kind of nonprofit, I just don't see it working another way, because the system like this is so hard to get through. And it's unfortunate that people do have really good ideas, really good proofs of concept, but then it's just like, hey, we're here not to reinvent the wheel. We're here to just make sure the job gets done. And that could be a downfall of a military that can or cannot adapt, especially as we've seen the situation of mental health has not gone down at all. If Khan's watching this, I will work with you on it if we can, get some stuff together. I think there's people that are watching this right now that would be more than willing to help the cause or something, because I do think it's important. So, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any other better ideas? Do you agree with Khan's idea that this will work? Or is there something else like mine or someone else's that you can think that would be more effective in trying to make sure that we are there for our service members? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you guys do support, you can support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. On top of that, YouTube join button below this video. If you have questions about this or anything else, hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below, or TikTok. I forgot that one, but I'll see you guys next time. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. I said that twice. That was dumb.